made a video on the E92 M3 in a while, and I've been kind of stuck on the E36 project. There's been a lot going on with that, and I just wanted to share all that with you, but I haven't really shot anything on this. So today we're shooting a little video on this. We're on a backcountry road right now, and I just feel like the E92 M3 is a car that if you've never owned one, or if you're thinking about owning one, or this is what the video is really about, if you're in the market to even buy one right now, I think now's the time. Like, you're talking about, you can find these for relatively low, around mid-20s for one with pretty high mileage, but still enough to have fun with it, enough to, enjoy. And these cars are fairly reliable. Now, I wouldn't go to, say, buy one at 130, 140K. It's a different story there. But I really think these cars are coming to a place where you get a lot of fun for not a lot of money. If you're talking mid-20s, like I was mentioning, think about that. What cars can you really buy for mid-20s that have 400 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, a 4-liter V8 that revs up to 8250? There's not a lot for that you're gonna find. So that being said, I feel like, I don't know, like if I didn't own one, I'd want to buy another one right now just because I do love this car. Now, I don't think it's the best car ever. I'm not someone that's like, oh, the E92 M3 is literally the best car I've ever driven or anything like that. But it's just such an all-around package. And let me explain what I mean by that. I think there's a lot of cars out there that they're techie and they look great, the interior is fantastic and all that, but then they drive like shit. They don't handle well, nothing like that. Now, this to me, especially when you factor in price, is a very good all-in-one car. You got a somewhat simple interior, but it still holds up to today's standards. It still looks nice. There's certain elements that do look dated for sure, but it's just like, it's got a lot going for it. You know what I mean? Like, you can see this one, mine has the Fox Red interior on it, and there's not a lot to me. Like, I get in this car and I still don't feel like, for being a 2011, that there's a lot dated. There we go. Now, one of my favorite things is obviously getting and driving this thing. The car, it sounds great. Downshifts are good. They're a little slow by today's standards, but the upshifts are quick, and you do have adjustable shifting. So you have right here, you have adjustable shifting, whether you want a harder shift or a smoother shift. And for daily driving, you can put that a little lower. But it sounds so good. Puts a smile on your face. I think that's the biggest thing I want from a car, at least. I think all day we can talk specs, we can talk how fast the car is, we can talk about the 0-60 and all that, but the reality is, do I have fun driving it? I think that's a big part of it. If I don't have fun, if I don't want to continually drive it, then to me it's not a car that I even want to talk about or even want to film or do whatever. Or even want to drive, I guess, for that, And so that's a big part of it for me, is like, this car makes you want to drive it. You want to hear the engine more. You want to push it harder. It is confidence. It's definitely a confidence building car. Like when my fiance gets in this car, she feels more confident with it. She feels like it drives better. There's certain things that even non-car people can feel with this car. So, that being said, let's talk a little bit about the engine. The engine, it's a 4-liter V8, makes 414 horsepower. Not a lot, especially for how heavy the car is. And, you're not really getting a lot of horsepower for that right there. So, and it's low torque. I think it's 290 foot-pounds of torque. And it's definitely got a get up, but like if you're at 2,000-3,000 RPM, you're not gonna feel that. Like, I mean, bear in mind I'm in 4th gear, but that's 3,000 RPM pull. Like if I get up to 5,000, it's a little different story right there. You definitely feel it, but it's not insanely fast. it has a lot of get up and has enough, I think, with the intoxicating engine sounds and all that, exhaust note, you know, you have fun. I don't know what to say other than I get excited driving this car. Like, it's just... Overall, like, the car's stock. Like, mechanically, everyone's like, oh, what have you done to the engine? I'm like, nothing. You know, and for me, the reason is that I've loved the engine. I haven't wanted more power in this car. It's not something that I've craved more power with this. I just have fun driving it the way it is. There's no doubt in my mind that these cars are a staple of what BMW used to be. They're not that they don't make great cars now, but I think, you know, the screaming V8. Who knows if we'll ever get that in, you know, another M car again. We probably won't. With everything going electric, I doubt they would make it for any other reason other than just as like a historic model that they come out with. So, you know, that being said, I really think this is a car that, you know, it's gonna be a future classic. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so I've owned my M3 for about 3 years now, and really, honestly, there hasn't been a lot I've had to do. The only thing that I've actually had to fix or replace, I mean, it's all general maintenance stuff. The only thing that I've really had to do is electrical stuff that was self-inflicted. So stuff like, you know, whenever I pulled something apart, if I didn't put it together right, if I broke a piece, then electrical kind of goes haywire, and that is a point of BMWs. You know, you see BMWs with all kinds of lights on, so it is something that's been in BMW nature for a long time. That being said, the major thing on this is rod bearings. There's some other minor little things that happen to these cars, but rod bearings are obviously the biggest, right? You know, you hear it everywhere. If you're looking into these, people are like, oh, have you done your rod bearings? Has the car had rod bearings done? You know, whenever you're looking at all that stuff. You know, I think that is a big issue, but it's something that if you're gonna buy one, you know, budget an extra $2,500, $3,000 for that. The place where I probably wouldn't buy this car is if you're looking for a daily driver. Now, if you're okay with a daily driver being a little rough, that's fine, but this car's not a good daily driver. It really isn't. Like, it's kind of, here, I'll give you guys an example. If you put it into the drive mode, and I go ahead and I got no one behind me, I'm gonna go ahead and slow down, right? And when you're kind of pressing the gas, you can see, like, if I was stopping a traffic, it's really clunky. You know, it drives a lot more like a manual in the sense of when I let off the gas, it's gonna kind of like, you're not gonna go anywhere. You know, same thing if you had a manual, you'd be almost pushing the clutch because you're about to stall. So you can kind of feel it doing that work. And again, I think if you're looking for a daily driver, it's a little bit annoying. It's not super smooth. It's not like a little clunky. Like, it almost like feels like you're gonna stall in a sense. Some people have said like the GTS tune will get rid of that, but I mean, the steering's really nice. It's honestly a little dead sometimes. I noticed after getting in the Z4M, which has hydraulic steering, and this feels a little dead. Like, it just feels a little bit like, you know, even on the sport mode that you do have on this, it feels a little dead. Like, I feel like I can't feel the road quite, and I can definitely tell it's fake. Now, does it make me not want to drive the car? No, definitely not. But it is something to think about. Like, you don't have that same feeling. There's these seatbelt things. So you guys saw me just pull over real quick, but there's these seatbelt little, like, I don't know the exact name for them, but they hand you your seatbelts. They don't work, and that's kind of a common thing on these. I don't know. I guess those are things I don't really care about. I can talk all day about stuff, but the reality is you got to just drive one. You got to drive one, get the experience, because you know, people that own 335i's can comment all day that these things are slow, and they are if you have an 800 horsepower 335i, and I get that. But it's just not about that. It's you know, it sounds like a cop-out or an excuse, but it's really just about the experience. It's about the experience of driving this thing. It's, you know, there's something different. I've had a lot of people that have come from a 335. I bought an M3 and loved it for that aspect. Others that have said, you know, it's too slow, it's not the right car for me. And I think you have to understand what you really want from a car. There's certain machines that I feel like, you know, they have their place in time. You can tell the things that they needed to fix and you know, need to get better at, but they have their point in time of what they actually did for the car world. And I think this is one of those cars. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.